Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so you guys know how I was spending time with family recently who came in from out of state. So one of the family members, I was basically in charge of like chaperoning them around and stuff. And because everybody else was busy. And so one of the things about this family member is she prides herself on always paying for everything. Every family like gathering, she's like, oh, and I paid for it. Oh, and yeah, I bought you that, didn't I? Blah, 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 blah. Chat, she didn't pay for anything. Chat, I racked up like $300 in like museum tickets and shit. All right? I paid for all of the food, all of the gas. My car got a flat fucking tire. Thankfully, she had AAA, so I got to use that for free. But I still have to buy new tires for my car. Still gotta buy new tires for my car. Is this the same person that slammed your door? Yeah, this is the same person that slammed my car door into the curb twice. And then started like jiggling it, trying to get it unstuck because she slammed it so hard onto the curb that like it got stuck. Like the door swung out and it was like the car door was like basically level with the curb. And so it swung out and she had to like jostle it to get it to close. And I'm like sitting there like, oh my God. Oh my God. Just stand up. Just stand up so that the, like, I didn't say this, but I'm like, I'm thinking, you know, I'm like, just stand up so that way the weight is off the car and you can close the door. Oh my God. And then, chat, I'm sorry, I know I'm supposed to be playing the game, but now I gotta get this out of my system. Chat. It's been eating me alive. It's been eating me alive. You still sound mad. I was mad. I'm not like mad that I had to pay for stuff, you know. I'm happy to accommodate like family and stuff, and like I'm not gonna like actually pry into people's like living situations or whatever. I'm not gonna be like, so you always claim you pay for everything and yet here you have not paid for literally anything. Interesting. One of the things was like $200 on its own, so it's like $200 plus $300 from going to all the other museums and shit and paying for the gas and everything, because some of those fucking museums are stupid fucking expensive. Did she complain? Every time we went to something, she'd be like we went to the zoo. And she was like, yeah, the zoo is better where I live. And I'm like, did you just say that to me after I paid fucking how much for your fucking ticket? Granted, I did like an annual pass, so that way, not for her, but like I renewed my annual pass and then I put like, I put it so that way I have like 2 extra adult guests. So that way, like whenever family and stuff comes to visit, or whenever like, if I take like my sister's kids and my sister comes with and my sister's husband, then like there we go. Like that, not that I like spending time with my sister, but I would be happy to take her children to the zoo. So I bought like annual passes. So like that one, yeah, I don't expect her to pay for like the extra $100 it cost to bring her. But you know, like anything, any of the meals, any of the museums, maybe any of like the like little treats that I took her to, like any of the snack, you know, like literally anything. And what riles me up about this, because I wouldn't have given this a second thought, okay? You know, it is kind of like ironic, but like, I wouldn't have given it a second thought. However, so I go to crash for the night. I'm like, I am so tired. I'm so tired. I can't do this anymore. Because I for 3 days, I spent taking her around, trying desperately to make her happy. Okay, 3 days of driving hours around the Pacific Northwest trying to make her happy. But anyways, okay, I go to bed and I got her some little souvenirs from the zoo. Okay, I get her some little souvenirs, and one of them is a mug with an elephant on it. And so I'm hearing this story secondhand, but apparently this relative, she tried to hand Mamakin the mug. She was like, I got this for you or something, and Mamakin's like, no, that's that's the mug that Pippa got for you. Don't you remember? And she's like, no, I got this. And Mamakin's like, it's a mug with an elephant on it. She got it for you because you like elephants. And she like hesitates for a moment. And then Mamakin goes to like grab it, wrap it. And then she like pulls it back. And she goes, oh, huh. I'm like... How old is this relative? She is like 70. All right, she is up there, but she is cognizant. Okay, but when we were leaving the zoo, like I sit down and I hand her the bag, and she's like, I'm like, oh yeah, I got you some stuff. Here it is. And I got her a pin, I got her a mug, and I got her a bracelet. And she just sets the bag on the ground, like at her feet in the car, and I'm like, oh. You don't even want to look at it. I mean, I didn't say that. I just started driving. But I was like, I see how it is. I see how it is. Okay. All right, I see how it is. Okay. Okay, whatever. 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 You always complain. Nobody gets you anything. I got you something. Ah! Dementia. She doesn't have dementia. She was like, why would I buy something here for $8 when I can get it back home for $2? And it's like, you haven't bought anything. What do you mean? What do you mean? You know, back home, nobody's gonna buy stuff for you. Okay? So maybe instead of being so negative about it, you could fucking treat yourself a little bit. You know? Monetarily, I feel like if you do the math, you know, you break even in the end. Man, and I get fucking multiple text messages at the end of every day. They're like, how's it going? And I'm like, it's okay. And they're like, I know it's hard. Thank you for doing this. And I'm like, Mr. I think you should have took her to the beach. So I did. I did end up taking her to the beach. For those of you who missed that part. So the first time that I was taking her around, okay, we went to the city and I tried taking her to things that she liked, you know, like the bookstore, and I took her to a bunch of museums, and of course everything was inferior to the stuff where she lives. I had to like try and pry for any sort of positivity. I was like, what was your favorite part? What did you like most about this place? What was like your favorite thing that you saw? Trying desperately to get any positivity, because while I've been there the whole time, it's like one thing we went to, there was like a little art exhibit and it was all fish, right? And there's like a little guidebook where you do like a little scavenger hunt, and it's like, okay, like fill out all the fish that you see and hunt for the ones that you don't like. It's a scavenger hunt, so you mark them off as you see them, right? And she looks at the book, flips through it, and then she closes it and she says, I don't need this. I already know all these fish. And I'm like, it's a scavenger hunt. Excuse me? Oh my god! Oh my god! Beautiful old jaded behavior. Oh my god! Name 10 fish. I should have said name 10 fish. Oh my god! We passed by this tea shop, okay? And it's a tea shop that they have where she lives. Okay, I will say, by the third day, when we're at the zoo, and she says to me, the zoo where I live has more turtles. I said to her, okay, and I'm like losing my mind, chat. I'm losing my fucking mind. She likes turtles. She doesn't care about turtles. She walked by all the turtle exhibits. And then she kept making comments. She was like, yeah, people these days don't respect their elders. And back when I was young, people couldn't talk back to their elders and stuff. And I'm just sitting there ready to veer the car off a cliff if I have to hear about this. Okay, I'm like, Are you implying something? I mean, I didn't say that to her, but I'm wondering, right? I'm wondering. But the befuddling part, chat, is at the end of all this. Apparently, she tells my parents, she was like, I had a great time. Your daughter is so sweet, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you did not give that impression this entire time. Oh my God. Okay, my parents have a lot of subscription services. I know, because I pay for half of them. So this relative, we gotta give her a name. We're gonna call her Trudy. So Trudy is sitting on the couch and sleeping on the couch. And so, okay, so I have the office inside the house, right? And then there's my old bedroom. And my old bedroom has now been turned into a guest bedroom because I spend most of my time in my RV in the back, okay? So that's a spare bedroom. She could sleep. She could sleep on the spare bedroom. But instead, she sleeps on the couch. Do you know how awkward that is? You know how awkward that is? So she's sleeping on the couch and she's watching TV like most of the day because I don't wake up usually until like 9 a.m. And so I'm not really ready to start like going out and about until like 10 a.m. right? Because I need to like shower, I need to take care of my animals, I need to get dressed, I need to, you know, like all that shit. So Trudy spends the bulk of the early morning because Trudy wakes up, she was awake at 6 a.m. Trudy wakes up at 4 a.m. and she's watching a lot of TV. And Trudy, she goes, there's nothing to watch. So Papakin buys her the Hallmark channel. And then when Mamakin comes out, and Papakin's already left, Trudy goes, oh, how did she say this? Oh, fuck, wait, hold on. I need a channel exactly how she said it. Trudy says to Mamakin, your husband had to buy me the Hallmark channel. He's so sweet. You have nothing on TV. Wow. Okay. Okay. Wow. Yeah, it's all Mamakin's fault. It's Mamakin's fault that she didn't want to watch one of the 5 other subscription services we have. I asked Trudy, I'm like, so what do you do like as a hobby? And Trudy says to me, I don't have any hobbies. I don't have any time. And so I'm like, oh, what does your day look like? And she's like, well, I wake up at 4 a.m. and then I go to work and I get back around noon and I go to bed at 8 p.m. and I try to be asleep by 10 p.m. I'm sitting there thinking, what do you do for the entire rest of your day then? I'm just wondering this whole time. What the fuck is she doing? What the fuck is she doing? So what do you do while, like, before bed and stuff? And she's like, I watch movies. I'm like, oh, I love movies. Did you know that? And I name off a famous director that lives in that city. And she's like, I don't know. So I go like, oh, well, let's go see a movie. Because I love going to the movies, chat. I love going to the movies. It's a great way to spend time with people you don't want to fucking talk to. She goes, nah, I don't know any that are playing right now. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna look some up then. And so I start listing off all the movies that are playing. And I'm like, well, there's one about the Nuremberg trials. That seems interesting. Do you like history? And she goes, no. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, and I'm thinking like, maybe we should go something like a little bit more mainstream. I'm like, there's Tron Ares playing. And she's like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, okay. What about what kind of movies do you watch when you're trying to like fall asleep and stuff? And she's like, I like to watch true crime, stuff about crime and thrillers. And I'm like, okay. I wonder why you had my parents buy you the Hallmark channel then, because there's not a whole lot of that going on there. But whatever. So I'm like, okay, Well, there's one called, oh god, I don't remember the fucking name of it. It looks like trash, but it's like Love is Dying or something like that, or Kill This Love, something like that. And it's like a thriller comedy about an insane woman. And I'm like, okay, what about this one? And she goes, no. I'm like, okay. Okay, whatever. Anyways, we're never gonna win, dude. I was never gonna win. I don't know why I even tried. I don't know how why did I even fucking bother? Why did I even fucking bother? I should say, as we're leaving the city, I go like, oh, how did you enjoy the city? What was your favorite part? Blah, 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 blah. And Trudy goes, it's not the coast. And I'm like, that I want you to pay for every single one of those fucking overpriced museum tickets that I paid for, because I would never go to that shit on my own, all right? I was not doing this for myself. I was doing this for you, okay? I want my goddamn fucking money back and my time back, okay? Like, I could, like, while I'm in the city, I could have spent time with friends, which is another thing. So, one of my friends, unfortunately, is leaving the area. And so the day before Trudy arrived, I was hanging out with my friend, and then I ended up staying the night, and so I was already in the city. And so what I did is I asked Trudy, I was like, oh, do you want to come to the city? Because I'm already here. And so, you have friends. Yes, I collaborate with them on stream. Trudy, I'm gonna buy you an Uber. All you have to do is stand outside when I call you next time. So Trudy goes, I don't know how to Uber. I'm like, don't worry. All you have to do is get in the taxi. And I change my wording. I start saying taxi. So Trudy gets in the taxi eventually. Like, I call her again. I'm like, all right, the taxi's outside. Here's the license plate number. And it's a bit of a struggle to get her into the quote-unquote taxi, because she's like, what color is it? And I'm like, it's a gray sedan. And she's like, do you mean that black car over there? And I'm thinking, I don't know. I can't see. We're not on FaceTime. This is a phone call. I don't say that. Instead, I say, does the license plate say blah, 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 blah? And she's like, blah, 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 blah. Yep, that's it. I'm like, okay. So you can sit in the front or the back, whichever you'd like. And she goes, I'm gonna sit in the front. I'm like, that poor Uber driver. All right. So she gets in and everything, and she's like, what do I do now? And I'm like, he's gonna drive you to the location. He's gonna drive you to the bookstore, and we'll meet there, okay? And she's like, I don't know how to get there. And I'm like, no, it's okay. He knows how to get there. So I hang up, I spend some more time with my friend, and then I head over to the bookstore, and I make a critical error in that I misjudge how far away bookstore is. My bad. So I end up being a fair bit late to the bookstore because we went to go get breakfast in like a different area. So from the breakfast place, from the diner to the bookstore, it was like somewhere between like 15 and 20 minutes. Okay. And so I leave, and I'm probably around like 20 minutes late. Okay. But in my mind, I'm like, it's a bookstore. Or when I see her arrive from the Uber app, I call her again, and I'm like, okay, I'm running a bit late. Just meet me inside. And she goes, okay, where's the bookstore? And I'm like, should be right in front of you. And she's like, okay. And so she goes into the bookstore. And so I get to the bookstore and I'm looking around for her. Okay, I'm about 20 minutes late and I'm looking around and I don't see her. I'm like, huh, well, I'll try calling her. So I call her and I call her again and I call her again and I call her again and again and again. 8 times. No answer. That's weird. In between calls, I go up to the front desk and I'm like, can you put out a call for a Trudy so-and-so to meet at the front desk? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much. And so they call for Trudy to meet me at the front desk. In the meantime, I keep calling, and I start looking around more and more. And then I notice she was at the entrance the whole time, tucked off to the side. So there's like the entryway and there's like the security scanner things. And she's like standing beside one of like the security scanners, like off to the side. And I'm like, hi there. Why didn't you get my calls? Or like, did you hear the intercom? And then I notice she's on the phone. And you see, I left something out here. I left out a part of this story. Okay. I was getting text messages from Mamakin. And Mamakin was like very angry. Mamakin was sending me messages saying, Trudy says that you abandoned her. Trudy says she can't find you. Where are you? She might get lost. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm getting angry because I'm like, man, my friend is moving away. All right. I don't know when I'll get to see her again. I wanted to have breakfast and say goodbye to her. Okay. Like, I'm already like a bit emotional over that. And now I'm getting bitched at. Okay. Okay, buddy. All right. You have plans. Yeah, I already had plans. Okay. So I don't say anything. I don't freak out, whatever. See Trudy. And Trudy's talking on the phone to somebody. And I go, who are you talking to? And she goes, your mom. And I'm like, now I'm even more angry. I get even more angry because now I'm like, oh, so my mom won't hang up the phone so that way I can contact Trudy. Okay, whatever. All right. Okay. Like, I'm getting angry at my mom. So all these times I'm calling Trudy, she won't answer because she's talking to my mom. And I go, Trudy, why didn't you answer my calls? And she goes, well, I was looking at the phone and I was talking to your mom. And I'm like, so why didn't you answer my calls? Doesn't answer my question, but I'm not gonna fight with an elderly person. So I'm like, okay, well, we found each other. Let me give you a tour of the bookstore. So I go and I give her a tour of the bookstore and I take her over to the romance section because I know she loves pulp fiction romance. And like, we're in the romance aisle and she like glances at the shelves and then just stands there. And I'm like, are you done in here? And she's like, yeah, I don't need any of these. And I'm like, well, I'll buy you one if you'd like. And she's like, no, I have multiple boxes of books I need to get rid of. And I'm like, are you sure? It'll be my gift to you. She goes, no, I don't need any more books. I don't read anymore anyways. And I'm like, then why the fuck did we go to the fucking bookstore? Why did we go to the fucking bookstore then? Why did we go to the bookstore? Hello? Hello? You could have told me you don't read anymore. Okay, whatever. So I continue to take her around the bookstore. I'm like, do you want to see their rare books? They have a very interesting collection of rare books. And she's like, not really. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to go see the rare books. So you're free to come with, or you can explore around the rest of this floor once we get to that floor. And she goes in with me into the rare books area. And she looks at them a decent bit. And she doesn't have any complaints about the rare books, which surprises me because some of them are quite up there in price, like tens of thousands of dollars. I expected her to say, oh, I would buy that or whatever. But no comments. Thank God. Thank God. So we go around. Yeah, no complaints. You did it. I did it. Yeah. So we look around the bookstore more. We get to the top floor, or we get up to the top floor, and I'm like, oh, like, do you want to look around here? And she's just standing around. She's like, no, I already looked around here. And I'm like, I think I already talked about this part. It's like we hadn't been to that floor yet, but she argued with me that we had. And I'm like, I'm very quick to drop stuff. It's like, all right, let's just move on. So we live in a bookstore. We go to some museums and stuff. And at the end of the trip, like I said, she goes, oh, well, it's not the coast. So the next day we go to the coast. And I take her to my favorite city in the entirety of the West Coast. I love this town. This town that I take her to, I love it. I will never say the name because someday, like, I would love to, like, retire there or something. I don't know. Like, it is my favorite place. And it's on the coast. So we go there, and I take her to the best clam chowder place in town. And she says to me, "It's not runny enough. I like my clam chowder more liquidy." And I go, "Oh, I'm sorry. How about for dinner, we go to another place that my dad likes?" And in my head, I'm thinking, this is perfect. One time, Papakin took me to this one diner in the town, and I had a conversation with the waitress about an oyster soup because it looked really good on the menu. And I was like, I went to order it, and the waitress was like, "You probably don't actually want that." And I had never heard a waitress say anything like that to me before, and so my interest was piqued, and I go, "Why?" And she goes, "Because that's for our Depression era clients. It's basically just a can of cream that's been heated up in a bread bowl with oysters put in it. It was a very common Depression era meal here back in the day." And I'm like, first of all, that's an interesting bit of history. Second of all, gotcha. I'll keep that in mind. So, when I hear Trudy say that the clam chowder is too thick, I'm like, "Oh, do I have the place for you, you old hag? We can go to place name." Let me just ask my dad where it was, because I don't remember the exact name. So I asked my dad, and he texts me back and everything. And I'm thinking, perfect, we'll go there for dinner, because they're open late and everything. And then, throughout the day, at one point, she says, like, I asked her, I was like, "So, did you like the clam chowder?" And she goes, "Yeah, but it was too runny. I prefer my clam chowder to be more thick." And I'm like, that's not what you said while we were there. But okay. I figure, like, she's just having, like a memory issue or something. You know, I'm like, okay, she just doesn't remember, you know? But whatever. Like, she'll go back to thinking the other thing, probably. But then the next day, we're having dinner at another place, and the whole family's there, and she points at my soup and she goes, "Yeah, that's how I like my clam chowder." And I'm like, at this point, I can't take it anymore. I call her out in front of the whole table. I go, "Well, at the clam chowder restaurant, you said that you preferred your clam chowder to be more runny, which is why I texted my dad to ask him what the name of that other place was." And she goes, "No, I would never say that. I like my clam chowder thick." And I'm like, I'm ready to crash out at the dinner table. It's the third day, and I can't handle it anymore, chat. I am at the dinner table, and I am ready to just leave. I'm ready to literally, like, I'm ready to be like, "You know, I'm pretty tired. I think I'm just gonna head home early. Yeah, Mamakin, here's the car key. You know, I don't mind walking back, you know, burn off some of this food." But no, I stay strong. I stay strong, and I don't leave early as much as I would have liked to. But the whole time at the dinner table, she's just dead quiet, and the rest of the family is trying to ask, you know, like, "How'd you enjoy your time?" And she was like, "Oh, it was good, but we didn't get to go to place name." And I go, dead quiet, as I process the fact that she wanted to go to a different area. And I'm sitting there. I'm ready to crash out, man. I'm ready to crash out, because what's really funny, you see, is on the first day when she was in the city, okay, I asked her at the end of the day, I was like, "Do you want to go to place name?" And because, like, it still would have been like a long drive, but like we could have went. We could have went. And she said, "Nah, I want to go home." So we went home. And then one of the other relatives asked my mom, they're like, "You didn't take her to place name?" And Mama Kim was like, "I was busy working the whole time. Pippa was the one taking her around." And Mama Kin comes to my defense, which I greatly appreciate. Mama Kin goes, "Pippa would have taken her to place name if Trudy asked. Pippa is very accommodating and is down to do whatever, because Pippa just likes to have a reason to get out of the house." And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh my God, I love you, Mamakin. I love you, Mamakin. Thank you. Thank you for standing up for me. Thank you for not just throwing me under the bus. Thank you. I still wish that you would have babysat Trudy with me, but thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I guess Trudy complained to the other relative that she didn't get to go to one of the places that she wanted to go. There's always next time. Bro, I can't do this again. I can't fucking do this again. It was so exhausting. Was there like, are you sure you're not actually living in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm? You know, that's kind of what it felt like. That's kind of what it felt. It felt like I was in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, but instead of making all of the wrong choices that would lead to my downfall, I just narrowly avoided all of like the big flags that would like take me down, that would result in me being the butt of the joke. I just barely like managed to scrape through, which means like the big ol' eat shit moment has got to be coming up soon, because I don't know how I did that. I don't know how. Yeah, I made it through all 3 days of babysitting a very grumpy older woman who was not happy doing anything. I realized. So in that town that I took her to, I was like, do you want to go to the aquarium? Or do you want to go to the shopping district to pick up souvenirs? Because she was looking for some ornaments for some of like the younger family members that like say like, oh, I got this ornament when I was blah 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 years old, or whatever the fuck. So I'm thinking, all right, I'll take her to like I'm gonna give her a choice. And she goes, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. She goes, I'm easy to please. We can go wherever you want to go. And I'm just thinking, you know, you said that a few times now, and you know what? It doesn't make it any more true, no matter how many times you say you're eager to please. I think the only thing you're eager to do is bitch about how uneasy you are about every little fucking thing. Oh my fucking God. Shut up, man. Whatever. Okay, so we go to the shopping district. It was an excellent choice. She's walking around, looking in the shops. At one point, she buys something. That's like a miracle to me, because every single shop we've gone into, she's bitched about how expensive it is. And so I go, oh, what'd you buy? She goes, I got a little necklace for your mom. And I'm like, aw, that's so sweet. And she had been like trying to find something, a gift for my mom. I know, because at one of the shops we went into, she says to me, your mom is so hard to shop for. She has so much stuff. She already has everything she ever could want, doesn't she? And I'm like, okay, well, that's you know, if you said that in like a different way, I might have thought, you know what? Yeah, I like to think my mom lives a very fulfilled life. But now I just think that you're making a backhanded comment about like consumerism or something. But whatever. Okay. No, my mom's not hard to shop for. I tell her, I'm like, if you like anything you get her, she's going to appreciate, because she's more about like the thought that counts, you know. She's like that type. But we go into another shop, and I'm like, well, you know, her favorite color is purple, and she really likes dolphins and turtles. And I'm listing stuff off to give ideas, and Trudy picks something while I'm standing outside. Not like fully outside, but I'm like standing near the entrance, because I get kind of claustrophobic in stores. Trudy comes out, she's like, I got your mom a necklace, a little sea turtle necklace. And I'm like, aw, that's so sweet. And so I asked Mama Kid, I'm like, oh, like at the end of everything, I'm like, aw, did you like the gift that she got you, the sea turtle necklace? And Mama King goes, sea turtle necklace? And I'm like, yeah, she said she got you a little sea turtle necklace. And Mama King goes, no, she got me like a little clay figure of a clam with eyeballs. And I'm like, what? 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 What the fuck is going on, dude? Am I living in Bizarro universe? What? Yeah, I guess she kept the fucking necklace. What? She was throwing you off the trail. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe she was throwing me off the trail. I don't know. I don't know, schizophrenic hallucinations, man, I wonder. Because here's another incident of that, all right? We're at the zoo, and my favorite animal in the entire world, you would never be able to guess unless you've already heard me say it, because it's not, like, it's not rabbits, it's not owls, it's not anything that you would regularly expect. Yeah, that's right. It's a lion. My favorite animal of all time is lions. I just don't really, like, I don't really show it, but they're the thing that, like I would drive however long, I will spend all of the time at. I just, like, I want to see lions. I love lions. The normie pick. Yeah, I have the most normie taste in favorite animal, and it's lions. We go to the lions, and I have god fucking awful luck. And I never get to see the fucking lions. Ever. I never get to see the lions. The only time I ever get to see the lions is when I'm at a different zoo. Not, like, the zoo that I go to for all, like, family things. It's like, I gotta be in a different fucking state if I want to see goddamn lions. And even then, it's a 50-50. I've already got my expectations managed. I know I'm probably not going to see the lions. So I go, and I'm looking. I don't see them. I go to the second viewing point. I don't see them. And Mamakin's there with us this time, and I'm like complaining to Mamakin. I'm like, man, I really wanted to see the lions. I'm really sad that I didn't get to see them, but, you know, maybe next time. And Trudy chimes in. Oh, I saw the lions. And I'm like, where? And she goes, right in there. And I'm like, well, show me. Show me where you saw them then. And she goes, I saw them here. They were pacing around. And I'm like, are you talking about the mountain lions we saw earlier? And she goes, no, the lions. And I'm like, the pumas, the cougars, the smaller cats, you know, they're like a tenth the size on the other side of the park. Are you talking about those ones? And she's like, no, I saw the lions here walking around. And I'm like, are you messing with me? And she goes, no, I saw the lions. Everybody else saw them too. And I start to get like a little bit upset about this because I really fucking love lions, all right? Not to be a stupid little autist or whatever, okay? But I really fucking love the lions. So if I could have seen the lions at any given point, I would have seen the fucking lions, all right? Because I'm looking high and low for these motherfuckers. I fucking love lions, okay? I fucking love lions. And she's like, she's giving me like a dirty look, like I'm a fucking idiot. And I'm like, where? And she points to like a different viewpoint that you can, like back the way we came. And I'm like, okay. Okay. Like we passed by this beautiful bridge, and I'm like pointing at it, and I'm like, isn't that just like the most beautiful thing ever? Isn't it so amazing how out here the sky turns pink and the ocean like reflects the light, and so the whole area is just pink, and you've got that beautiful bridge. Wow, it is just gorgeous out here. And she goes, my friend made me a jacket that has the Golden Gate Bridge on it. And I'm just like, oh my god. Ah! Kitty Monkey, thank you. The best Pippa streams are the ones with stand-up comedy like this one. My life is a fucking joke to you. At one point, you know, I ask her, we're at some dinner place. I'm like, here's the drink menu. And she goes, oh no, I don't drink. You don't seem like you would drink either. And I'm like, haha. Okay, this one might upset you, chat, but at one point we were in an art museum and she kept almost touching the art, and one of the curators came up and was like, oh, please keep like a reasonable distance from the art. And she goes, oh, I wouldn't touch the art. I know that that's improper. And for the rest of the time in the art museum, I stood like 20 feet away. I would not stand next to her in the art museum. Here's my logic, all right? Before you go, Pippa, that's kind of mean. Here's the thing. If she doesn't have somebody to explain the art to, she's not going to be pointing at it. So, there's that. There's that. I did watch her still get like pretty close to stuff. And at one point there was like an exhibit that was like mostly on the ground, and there was like a taped out outline, and I watched her cut through the outline instead of walking around it. She didn't touch the art piece itself, but like the area on the floor is taped out, so like you're not getting so close to it that like, yeah, I gotta choose your battles. Gotta choose your battles, man. Oh, I remember. Okay, so I have really bad allergies. I am extremely allergic to my rabbits. I'm allergic to my mom's cats. I'm allergic to all of the dogs. I just have very, very bad allergies. So, like, I've talked about this before. That's usually, like, why I come on, like, when I come on stream and, like, my nose sounds plugged. It's probably because I was, like, petting the dog, or I just took care of my rabbits, or was hanging out with them, or whatever. Like, I just have very fucking bad allergies, and so my nose is always plugged up. I'm always sneezing, but I don't care because I love the pets. And I want to be around them, and I want to spend time with them. I have like air filters and stuff. I have one in my RV. I have one here in the office. Like, I try to stay on top of it, but I just have bad allergies. Like, it doesn't matter how long I'm exposed to them. Nothing. There's no meds for that. I can take Claritin, but it doesn't do anything. I need the really strong Claritin, but I don't want to keep taking really strong Claritin because I don't know what like taking that shit daily will do to my body. I don't know. There's just like a lot of medication. If I'm going to be doing like some serious recording or something, I'll take like a Claritin D or like a nasal spray or something. But in general, I'd rather just tank it rather than be constantly taking Claritin. So I have bad allergies. And at one point, Trudy goes, I'm sneezing a bunch in the car because my friends have pets. And of course, every time I go and visit, like, I gotta interact with their pets. I have cats. Very cute. So I'm sneezing like crazy. And Trudy's like, oh, are you getting sick? And I'm like, no, I just have allergies. And she goes, oh, I have allergies too. And then I watch her pull out of her bag an Advil and take it. And I go, oh, what was that? You okay? And she goes, yeah, I just have allergies too, so I take Claritin. And I'm like, that was an Advil. What? I literally just watched you take an Advil. Hello? And then she starts complaining about all of the pets in the house. She's like, oh yeah, it was terrible. I woke up on the couch and your mom's cat was right there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, they're cute, aren't they? And she goes, no, I don't like cats. And I'm like, okay. So she goes, I wish that your parents would keep them outside. I'm thinking, like, there's a spare bedroom you could have stayed in. You could have stayed in my old room. It's right there. Why did you sleep on the couch? Why? So, like, in my head, yeah, I wish we kept you as... In my head, I'm like, you know, these animals live here. You don't, all right? Like, so Mamakin let one of the dogs inside, and he was chilling in the kitchen. And then he went around the corner, and Trudy sees him, and she goes, no, 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 no. He can't be in here. And I'm like... She goes, I have allergies. And she reaches for some tissues, and she starts like covering her nose, and she starts going, ugh. Yeah. It's like, what a weird thing to just lie about at this point. I have to believe you are just not actually allergic, because I know. Oh god, now I gotta sneeze. Fuck. What a weird fucking thing to lie about. Like, why? Why would you lie about allergies? Like, it's not like you gain anything from it other than, I guess, if you don't like animals, then people will keep them away from you a bit more. But oh, here's a funny story. Here's one last funny story before I continue the game. So at one point, I get her talking about the good old days. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, how is this family member, you know, like back in the day and stuff? And she's like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah. You know, when we were kids, our family and the neighbors and all the neighbors around them and all, no, they're all Spaniards. For context, that side of the family is Spanish. And so we all used to believe there was somebody in the watchtower shooting at us. And I'm like, okay, first of all, what does that have to do with the other thing? But second of all, go on. And she goes, yeah, we'd be out in the fields, crawling under the barbed wire to take their vegetables. And they would sneak over to our side and they would steal our vegetables. And there'd be somebody in the watchtower shooting at us. And I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, first of all, what do you mean the watchtower? Second of all, why are you stealing vegetables? Third of all, so that's the question that I'm most curious about, because I'm thinking crawling underneath the barbed wire. I'm like, what do you mean barbed wire? And she goes, oh yeah, there was a big fence all along the property with barbed wire. Keep like animals and stuff out. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? You don't use barbed wire for that. No, you don't. You don't use barbed wire for that. Fun fact. But yeah. And then she changed the topic before I could ask anything else, and she started talking about one of my other relatives drank himself to death, and she found him on the front porch dead. And I was just like, wow, okay. And she's like, oh yeah, and then your other blah blah blah, he also drank himself to death. And I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck? Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about something else, maybe. I'd like to go to Spain someday. I'd like to see the area that your side of the family is from. She's like, yeah, I've always been meaning to, but you should always learn about your own country before you go visiting others. And I'm just like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What? And she goes, yeah, that's why I like to take the kids out. I want to take them to she doesn't have children. She's talking about other relatives, like her young nieces and stuff. I want to take them to every single state. I've been to every single state. I'm only missing a few. I'm like, which ones are you missing? And she goes, have you ever been to New Orleans? And I'm like, no. She's like, oh, New Orleans is wonderful, but terrible. They've got alligators there. And I'm like, oh, I like alligators. And she goes, oh, there's all kinds of creatures out there. And I'm like, well, where else would you like to go? I can't remember where else she said. Can't remember where else. And she goes, have you ever been to Boston? And I'm sitting here thinking, weren't we talking about states? Like, you're just naming major cities now. She goes, I loved Boston. And I'm like, oh, what'd you like about Boston? She doesn't have an answer. Didn't have an answer. She just keeps rambling about how wonderful it is. She's like, oh, it's so wonderful. It's so great out there. I'm like, oh, okay. No specifics, I guess. Okay. And she goes on another tangent that she's like, I think everybody should know what the main interesting fact is about each state. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here thinking like, oh, you mean like how when I tried to tell you about that other city and all like the fun stuff that was there, and you weren't listening and you didn't care and you just kept saying that every other state has that and blah 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 blah. And she's like, she just keeps going. She just keeps going, and I'm just stuck in the car listening. Man, I'm just stuck, fucking listening to this walking contradiction, and then starting to get a little bit mad again, because it's like I tried like educating you about like this area, and every time we drove through somewhere I'd be like, this is blah blah blah, they're famous for this one diner, but the diner had to relocate. This is blah blah blah, it's primarily like a logging town, or logging area, not really town. This is blah blah blah, and here's blah blah blah, and I'm giving her like a rundown, like because it's a long fucking drive to get to where we're going. I'm just running down everything, and she just doesn't care, and she just like interrupts me to talk about just random shit. I'm sorry, I'm starting to lose steam here. I just, it has the lore of the towns. I think it's interesting. Yeah, blah, blah, blah history is crazy, but Boston, though. Oh, yeah, and then every time I went to, like, respond to work DMs, she'd be like, you shouldn't be on your phone. You should put your phone away. And I'm like, I'm working? Don't even start, because I actually will start to throw hands with you if you try and pull me away from responding. First of all, okay? I don't respond most of the time unless I absolutely fucking have to. But second of all, you are not going to deprive me of my job, okay? I do need money. Do not fucking do this to me. Don't even... this is like my escape from all of this as well. So don't even fucking start with me. And then she says to Mamakin, you could have taken time off. I knew you were avoiding me. Because Mamakin had to work over the weekend. I'm like, wow. Well, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I don't have a fancy phone mount, and I was driving my car, the one that Papakin gave to me, the shit box that ended up getting a flat fucking tire, and I've got like a little cup holder phone mount because the other phone mounts won't stay attached. They keep falling off. So I got a phone mount for the cup holder, and I use that for navigation. Okay, in general, I usually know generally where I'm going, but sometimes it's like, oh fuck, like do I go whatever. And then especially like in the city, it's like, oh like I need this, you know, it's full of fucking one ways and can you tell the USA they were become a big BB. So she keeps like messing with my phone. I'm like, I talk to myself out loud a bit because I don't have an internal monologue. So when I really want to like make sure I'm processing something, I'll say it out loud. I'll be like, okay, so I need to turn in a quarter of a mile onto Bennett Road or whatever the fuck, okay? And she'd like turn my phone to look at it. And I'm like, touch that? I need that! And I didn't make a big deal, but I would just like turn it back around. But the one thing that did really piss me off. So after the car broke down, I used the truck a little bit. I used my truck, which I don't really like taking like far off or anything, but we had to go do one last little errand for the night. So I switched vehicles into my truck because I didn't know that like I'd be allowed to borrow their rental car or anything. So I switched to the truck, go take Trudy to the store. And she's like, this truck is so high up. How do you even get in this thing? And my patience is like really running thin. I know I keep saying I'm ready to throw hands. At the end of the day, I probably wouldn't because she's an old lady. But it's like, man, don't fucking shit talk my truck. And I'm waiting for it to defrost because it's a fucking old truck. It takes time and the windows needed to defrost. And so I'm trying to, you know, make like lighthearted jokes. I'm like, oh, I should have come out here and, you know, started warming it up earlier. Yeah, it takes a while to defrost. Sorry about that. You know, it's pretty old. She's not saying anything. She's ignoring me the whole time. So it gets to the point where the front windshield is defrosted. And if you know anything about old trucks, it's that the windows, they don't defrost. They don't fucking defrost for some reason. So I'm like, you know, I'm like doing that trick where you like roll the windows down and up a few times. And then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna head off. So I set out to take her to the store. And I roll the windows down because I can't see out of them. You just gotta get out and wipe it. But then it smudges. And when it turns daylight, you have a bunch of streaks on your window. My travel hack is you just roll the windows down. But anyways, so I just roll the windows down because honestly, I love driving with the windows down anyways, so it doesn't bother me. But I roll the windows down. It's not so old that it like that I can't roll the passenger side window down. Anyways, so I've got the windows down. I put down the windows and I go to make my next turn, pulling out of the driveway. Turn. And she starts rolling them back up while I'm looking out of them. And I stare at her for a moment. And then I quickly check to see if anyone's coming, and then I start going. And I say to her, I need those down so I can see out of them. And she says nothing. and she is quiet the entire rest of the trip. And when we get home, she just goes back inside. And I'm left wondering, what the fuck happened? Are you mad that you had to, like, step up into a truck? What is happening? What is happening right now? Are you mad you had to step into the truck? Are you mad that we had to be in the truck? Are you mad that it had to fucking wait to warm up? What are you angry about? You're out of the trust, Pippa. I'm out of the trust. At one point, Trudy tried to imply, while we were doing like the big family dinner, she was like, oh yeah, Pippa almost hit somebody. Oh fucking Christ! Basically what happened was I went to merge over to take an exit, and another guy, so I'm already doing like 75 in the Ultima, and this other car who has no lights on, even though it's cloudy and lightly drizzling, in a black like sedan type fucking vehicle, I don't even know what that was, flies by me at like 120. So I'm making like what I view as a reasonable merge to take an exit, because I don't expect that somebody behind me is about to fly up at a fucking insane speed. Like, I'm looking in the rearview mirror and it's like, oh, they're like way far behind me. All right, I'll start to slowly merge over. Maybe that's a bad driving habit, I don't know. But I usually merge lanes pretty slowly, just in case something catches me by surprise. I'd rather be half in the lane and able to back out. But yeah, no, so this guy fucking flies by, and Trudy looks at me like I almost killed her. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm like mostly unfazed, you know, because like people are pretty crazy. So like I wouldn't have like thought about it much, I guess. Other than like oh, that's crazy. You're at the dinner table, Trudy brings it up, and it's like, what are you doing here, Trudy? What are you doing here by bringing that up, Trudy? What are you trying to do here? What are you trying to do here, Trudy? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? And Mama Kim was like, no, I saw that because I was on the passenger side and I saw that guy. All right, that was not her fault. And I was like, oh no, feels good to be white knighted at the dinner table. But unintentionally extended the stream to normal length. Did I? How? Wait, what time is it? Oh my God, it's already been 2.5, or not 2.5, but two hours. 2 hours and 12 minutes. No wonder I started to like peter out a bit, even though I still had complaints. I was like, oh man, wow. Trudy did that. Trudy did that. Oh my God. I will say, I would do it again if I had to. I will say, if I had to do it again, I would, because she is an older relative. I definitely wouldn't want to. And I've taken notes for if there is a next time. I'm not gonna take her to museums. They're too expensive for how much she gets out of them, in my opinion. Maybe I'm being a bad person or controlling or whatever. If she wants to pay for the museums, she can pay for the museums. But like, I'm sorry to like harp about money so much, but it's pretty frustrating to pay for tickets to something and then watch the person that you bought the tickets for just like walk through it without really caring. I'm gonna take her to the movies if I ever have to chaperone her on my own again. I will take her to the movies. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, man. Not worth it.
Everybody, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Low Effort Clips. That's right, Low Effort Clips, right here on YouTube.com. Yeah, and hit the notification bell. Yeah.